This video is a part of a series of videos intended to provide the sport of obedience with a clear explanation of the individual obedience exercises, procedures, and scoring. It is not intended to be the only resource, and participants in the sport are encouraged to attend judges' panel discussions, view AKC webinars, and above all, read the regulations. This is not an AKC product. It is based on the obedience regulations and shares the interpretations of many AKC judges. KPS takes full responsibility for its content. In this video, we will discuss the open command discrimination exercise. In Open A, this is the exercise that follows the heel-free and figure-8 exercises. All open exercises are performed off-leash. In order to master this exercise, it is important that the handler understand the regulations. While the regulations are not particularly entertaining, they must be read and studied in order to be successful in the sport. In AKC Obedience Regulations, Chapter 4, Section 3, we are told that there are 30 points available for this exercise. The team must retain more than 50% of the points available in this exercise, or 15.5 points in order to qualify. The principal features of this exercise are the dog's correct response to the handler's first commands and/or signals, and that the dog stays until the handler returns to heel position. We will watch this exercise in its entirety and then discuss its elements, common errors, and scoring.
Command discrimination. Are you ready?
Ready.
Stand your dog. Leave your dog.
Wait.
Down. Leave your dog.
Wait.
Sit. Back to your dog.
Wait.
Exercise finished.
Experienced judges will place the exercise depending upon ring conditions. The judge will attempt to position the exercise where it adds to the efficiency of movement exercise to exercise and in a manner that is most advantageous to the team. Handlers may not immediately see the benefit of the exercise placement, but the judge's goal regarding this is efficiency and fairness. The judge will mark the ring for this exercise in order to ensure that all teams have the same opportunities and requirements. The ring may be marked on the ring gating if present. The ring may be delineated by ring gating, or it may be a rope drawn between poles driven into the ground. In these cases, the judges will use tape or other material to mark the start of the exercise, 15 feet from the start, and then at 30 feet from the start. The judge may use tape or chalk on the floor of the ring to mark the start, 15 and 30-foot marks. The handler should begin each element of the exercise behind these marks. A handler that is forward of the marks would be changing the distances required in the regulations. This is scoreable. The judge may ask the handler to move behind the mark or may score the error. The judge will demonstrate his or her signals before the beginning of the exercise as a courtesy. He or she may only demo the signals to the first handler, or may demo them after showing the heeling pattern and before the class begins. Some judges may demo the signals for every team, but this is not required. Judges are not required to use standardized signals. It is important to watch the team that goes first and attend to the judge's signals. The verbal orders for this exercise are stand your dog, leave your dog, back to your dog. All other orders will be signals. And now let's take a look in detail at this exercise. The handler will begin the exercise behind the start mark. The dog will be in a sitting position. The judge will ask, "Are you ready?"
Command discrimination. Are you ready?
If the handler is ready, he or she should respond by saying yes or ready or other forms of affirmation. A nod of the head is acceptable as long as the judge can see it. If the handler is not ready, they should respond with no. Trials can be noisy, so ready or not, make sure the judge hears you. We will take an opportunity here to discuss signals. Signals are given with the hand and arm on one side of the body. There is no prescribed signal that can or must be given, and the handler's signals vary for a variety of reasons. One key principle is that the handler's signal must start at the natural position, move to its endpoint, and then return immediately to the natural position.
Down.
Handlers should not hold or delay the return to the natural position without expecting to be scored. This is true even to the point of non-qualifying. The handler's signal should be a fluid and constant motion from the natural position to the endpoint to the natural position. Handlers occasionally and inappropriately extend their signal to extremes while maintaining the constant motion. The judge will determine if this is an aid to the dog and may score an elaborate signal. In directing the dog to change position, the handler may give a command and/or signal. The signal and the command must be given at the same time. The handler may use the dog's name in the command, but the dog cannot act on its name. It is therefore necessary that the name and command be spoken in close proximity. Should the dog act on its name, it should receive a score of NQ for anticipation. In Open A, and with the team behind the start mark and the dog sitting in heel position, the judge will ask, "Are you ready?"
Are you ready?
The handler will give an affirmative answer that they are ready. The judge will give the first order, "Stand your dog." The handler will give a command and/or signal for the dog to stand. The dog should stand without delay. In the normal process of standing, it is acceptable for the dog's front feet to move forward even to the point of crossing the start mark. This should not be scored. If the dog moves forward significantly, however, it should be scored as having left its place. The judge will determine if the degree of movement warrants a penalty. If the dog moved a full body length, a score of NQ might be justified. In the normal process of standing, the dog need not be standing fully. All of the dog's weight must be on its feet and legs, but the dog does not have to be standing fully erect.
Leave your dog.
Wait.
At this point, the judge will order, "Leave your dog." The handler will immediately move directly to the 15-foot mark, turn and face their dog. The judge will then signal to down the dog. The handler will give a proper signal and/or command for the dog to drop. In the normal process of lying down, the dog's full body need not be on the floor or ground. The requirement is that all of the dog's weight must be off of its feet and legs. Some deep-chested dogs lie down with space underneath their elbows. This is still a down. Once the dog has complied to the command and/or signal, the judge will order, "Leave your dog." The handler will turn and walk directly to the 30-foot mark, turn and face their dog. The judge will give the signal to sit the dog. The handler will give a proper command and/or signal for the dog to sit. Once the dog has sat, the judge will say, "Back to your dog." The handler will return to the dog, walk around the dog, and step into heel position. The judge will say, "Exercise finished." The handler may pet and/or talk to the dog at this time as long as the dog remains under control. Now we will examine some common handler errors. First, the handler may give an improper signal. The signal must go from the natural position to the end of the signal and then back to the natural position. This should be a smooth transition. An elaborate or extreme signal may be scored to the point of non-qualifying. Next, the handler might hold their signal. Handlers may give one signal and/or command to cause the dog to act. When a dog misses a signal or command, the handler may be tempted to hold the signal in position, hoping that the dog will turn and see it and respond. Should the dog properly respond, the judge will have to determine whether or not the held signal was too extreme, and if so, apply the proper penalty, not excluding an NQ. A handler might also use a signal that includes unnecessary body movement or body language and will be scored according to the significance of their actions. Examples of this might be bending down or moving a foot forward as the handler gives the down signal. This could include an NQ for aiding the dog. Another example would be stepping forward with one foot while giving the stand command or signal. The handler is to give the signal to the dog while the dog is in heel position. Another error would be giving an extra signal or command. The handler gets one opportunity to signal or command the dog. When the dog fails to change position on command, handlers should use caution in giving an additional command.
Captain, down.
The handler is not to anticipate the judge's orders. The judge will order any handler's movement, and the handler must wait until that time.
Leave your dog.
Anticipation on the part of the handler or the dog can be penalized up to and including an NQ. Another error would be touching the dog. Handlers sometimes revert to their training experience due to nervousness. This might mean that the handler touches the dog in order to cause the dog to stand. If this occurs before the exercise begins, it will be in the miscellaneous area. If it occurs during the exercise, it should be scored as an NQ since it is an additional signal for the dog to stand. An error of less significance would be starting ahead of one of the marks. These marks are in place to make sure that all handlers operate from exactly the same distances. Starting ahead of a mark would indicate that you had some advantage. Remember that the fundamental exercises from novice continue to apply. All of the penalties associated with the novice recall apply in this exercise as well. For example, if the dog leaves its place or changes position prior to being commanded to do so, the penalties would be the same as in novice. For the handler, remember that there is no backing in obedience when the handler reaches the 15 or 30-foot mark and not before they turn and face their dog. Handlers do not back into the marks. This constitutes an additional command to stay. The same is true of looking back to see if the dog is still staying. This concludes the video on the command discrimination exercise. We hope that this video has helped the viewer understand the exercise and how it's to be performed. Please like and subscribe to this video so that you can receive additional videos as we produce them. Thank you for watching and enjoy showing your dog.